Got it.
Hey,
Big dog.
happening, Daddy?
Mate, just got out of the cold plunge, did some push-ups, had a shower. I am ready to rock.
Life's good. What cold plunge you got? You got like a little like a blow up one, or what are you running?
I'm using the pool at the moment because it's cold as fuck.
Yeah. Absolutely, mate. What is there a temperature in that? Would that be like 6 degrees or something?
It's about 5 at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, mate.
Just enough, because the ambient temperatures, it's not cold, but it's not hot either. So getting in that thing is pretty cold.
It's really interesting to me that so like I'll have it's been going on for a little bit over a year now, where it's just like I've had a cold shower every morning for over a year. And if you start doing that through, and it's a little bit of perception, right? But it's like if you start doing that in summertime, it's almost like refreshing. It's not really that bad. And if you keep doing it into winter, like you can bear it because like the marker is like small because you're used to it. Mm-hmm. But like I have a cold shower. I actually put a shower in my backyard. So I got a plumber to come. It cost me about fucking $2,000. But I'm like, I have it now. I'll go for a run or a row or do something in the morning. And then I'll go and shower under the stars. Like, and it's like in the day, it's fucking magical, bro. Like, I'm not sure what it is. But I know that there's some connection there. Like I'm naked in nature in cold water, like after like doing something difficult, undesirable, in the cold, like it's the fucking ultimate recipe.
That's amazing.
But it's cold, so I pump water from a tank. I pump water from a tank in my backyard, so the water's in a tank. It's fucking freezing. It hurts my teeth, like it gets that cold. My fucking teeth ache. But again, after it, it's like the feeling of alertness after that, like your senses are on fire. I think it is a little bit similar to exercise in the way, or even like repetitive exercise. Like for example, like when you were doing your run and you're getting up every day and doing 50, your body's going, hey, what the fuck is going on? Like, that, after 80 days or 90 days, 100 days, it's going to be over. But your body doesn't. Your body's going, hey, what the fuck? Like I'm survival. And I think that's what happens with the cold as well. It's like, that you're there for 2 minutes or you're there for 60 seconds, but your body's like, hey, trauma. I don't know when it's going to stop. But that feeling is pretty magical.
It's magical when you get out too. Like it's horrible getting in because it is so cold, man. But as soon as you get out, I go from that push-ups, and then my kids have like a little trampoline, and I jump on that for about 60 seconds and do some breath of fire as I'm doing it. And I just move the energy in my body. And once I do that, I'm just like, yes, I feel unstoppable,
Yeah. So good. And I think a little bit of it is, and it's something that we wanted to talk about today too, is like being like the gratitude and being grateful to be able to do that. But it's like, I think that there's a big mental switch. It's like I have to do it or I need to do it to I'm able to do it, like, because it's like someone for us, like even being able to jump on a trampoline, it's like, it's huge, right? Like a lot of people are never able to do that through disability or through, they're being born with some sort of challenge. It's like they would pray and hope and wish that one day they could fucking bounce once on a trampoline. And it's a little bit hard. I don't know, maybe this isn't me being empathetic towards a person, but like, when you see someone like in a mobile scooter and and it's because they're fucking eating themselves there. It's not because they're disabled. It's like there's someone somewhere that had an accident that ended up as a disabled person. And then, you got these people that are fully able that fucking, that eat themselves into disability. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
People that get lift, when you hear about it on those shows, like people getting lifted out of their house just to get to a fucking hospital, like they have. And it's not to say, they have a sickness. Their addiction to food is a sickness. And for the most part, this is where, most most of my day is so intentional because I am so grateful for the ability to do what I do and be able to make a decision. Like, we have the ability to make a decision. We have the responsibility of making a decision for ourselves, and we choose the road that's not conducive to our overall health and well-being, or we choose the latter, which is the opposite to that. And sometimes it's not an easy decision to make. Like, it's amazing to sit down and have a burger. Like, it's absolutely amazing. But I know for the next week, if I have a burger, I'm going to be congested. I'm going to feel lethargic. Like, and then everything else that I want to do that I love is impacted by this one decision. And so it's a tough thing to do, but in terms of living intentional, this is that gratitude practice, like waking up and being present with all the things, even if I'm feeling resistance inside of my body. It's like, be there, be in the moment, because you will come out of this. You'll come out of it.
Yeah. And I think too, it's like, the burger's a cool example because like we all know that burgers are amazing, but if you have a burger 365 days in a row, it's not that amazing after that, right? So it's like, the burger's only amazing in comparison to eating clean for 6 days of the week, or you know. So it's like it's the opposite, because if you have too much of that, then you take away like the pleasure in it. And it's a little bit like, I know when I was doing my run, right, I was like, I found myself on like day 30, day 50, around there. I was like, I'm getting so much out of this. I don't know when I'm going to stop. I don't think I stop, but I will stop if it stops serving me. That was like, that was my indication of when I needed to stop. And what I found was, like, whilst it was a really positive thing and I was getting so much out of it, towards the 170 day mark, I wasn't getting anything out of it. Like, I was taking more, because it was like, it was starting to be a little bit driven around the number, like the 21, like the half marathon. And it wasn't so much about me spending 2 hours with myself every day. It was just about having to get up. And I sort of identified that. I was like, wow, like, my ego's gotten in the road of this, and I'm doing this because I want to do a half a marathon, not because I want to spend 2 hours with myself and, you know, get all these positive things that I was getting out of it after day 30. So it was that run become my burger in a lot of ways, because it was starting to take away from me. It wasn't serving me. And I needed to detach myself from that. And again, it's a positive action, but it started to have a negative outcome.
Yeah, man. I felt that on my run too. Like, you know, day 30, 40, I was in a lot of pain, and I was like, this is fucking horrible. And the whole way through it, like, the whole mission was centered around awareness of mental health and suicide for the veteran community, right? And so every day I got up, I reminded myself of the families that have lost their sons and daughters in battle or at war, or even the war at home, and you know, their children have taken their lives. And so that was a good reminder for me to be present and satiate the mission itself, you know, like, and every day that I took that run, no matter how it felt, I was present that, you know, I am doing this, and I have the ability to do this, and I'm doing it for a good reason. And it was taking out of me, but at the same time, it was filling me up as well. Because the closer I got to the East Coast, the more I felt connected to the overall purpose. And each day that it got harder, I welcomed it more and more and more. And it allowed me to get over that hump. And it's a level of resilience that you can only get to through doing the thing, whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a level of resilience that you can only transmute by doing the thing. And so by the time I reached Byron, you know, I did that 24-hour, and I was like, what's next? What can I do that's next? And then I had to check my ego and be like, hang on, are you chasing something for the exhilarating feeling of what you just did and the accolades? Or I was like, no, I'm doing it because there's a message in here for everybody. And it could be 50 people, it could be 2 people. Either way, it's a success to be able to get that message out. For me, it's a success to get that message out and inspire somebody to make that change, right? It's a big, powerful movement, and we could do this through running, we could do it through rowing, anything, you know, just the way we connect with each other. And this whole topic on gratitude, you know, coach men, and I've coached thousands of people across the globe over the last 10 years in mindfulness, learning how to regulate our nervous system, how to heal trauma. And gratitude's the first piece. It's like this finding purpose in yourself and in your life, and then being grateful for wherever you are at. And of late, I've been having, at that time.
And identifying that you are where you are because of a very important reason. And that's because, like, for whatever, like, you are exactly where the fuck you are, for good or bad, because of the decisions you've made. And that's where the universe wants you.
That's what I was just about to lead into this. There's this talk of trauma. It's growing every day, right? Like, everybody's talking about it, childhood wounds, healing the things, psychedelics. And it is amazing. But I do feel as human beings, we have this inherent nature of taking too much, just like the burger, having too much. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to go down the trauma hole. It's endless. It is endless. Or we could just be here in the moment, do whatever it is that's healing us, and be like, hey, here I am. I'm here. I'm whole. I'm breathing. All of the lower zones of Maslow's hierarchy of needs are met. Cool. Yes, that was bad. Yes, that impacted me. But now I am who I am because of it. So package that. Thank you for all of the things that happened. I'm not that person anymore. I'm moving forward.
Yeah. And you don't, because that's the thing, right? Like, you don't identify, like, you need to remove yourself from that identity. Like, I'm not that person anymore. Like, I've outgrown that. So it's like, it happened. I was traumatized. I had that experience. I had that interaction. But that's not who I am now, you know, and exactly. Like, identify it and move on. That's what I like. It's really weird, man, because on the opposite of that as well, right, is like, people can get caught in identities. It's like, if you're known as the guy that runs, or you're the businessman, or you're the runner, or you're the vegan or the vegetarian, it's like, people label, like, I could be a vegan for 7 days, okay? And then I'm the vegan. It's like, well, I haven't been a vegan for fucking 37.5 years, but like, so it's like, at some stage, people, like, they adopt an identity or they remove an identity. So the cool thing, if you can adopt an identity, you can also remove an identity.
Yeah.
And there's no time frames from that. So I can eat meat for 37 years and then not eat meat for 7 days, and I'm a vegan. I identify as a vegan. So yeah, the opposite's true. We can do something. We can be mean, and we can do a lot of negative things, but we can also remove ourselves from that identity, and going forward, we can not be that person, which I think is super powerful.
That's so interesting you say that, because as you're saying, I was thinking, you know, I've witnessed people step into the space, into the healing space, and just be fucking nasty people. Like, they're just like, I can see that they're hurt people, and they're holding a lot of anger and shame and resentment. And as a result, their day-to-day life is low vibration. It's just like, I'm an angry person. I'm nasty, all the things. And they come out of the experience and they're fully changed. Like, their whole biology, psychology has transformed. And we celebrate that, right? We celebrate that. But if you take somebody who was a carnivore and then all of a sudden they're a vegan and they're like, I'm a vegan now, everybody's quick to go, hang on a minute, you're not a vegan, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, there's no difference in the transformation. We've made this transformation, but yet we celebrate somebody who's come from negative to positive. And then just because there's another label attached, we're not celebrating the other thing.
You know? So when I caught up with Alex Tyson we were talking about him the other day from Found Space, he was a vegan for a long time, for years and years. And then, so more recently, over the last 3 months, he started to eat keto. So it's like the opposite, right? So he's like gone from a vegan to like eating meats and fats and like a lot of these animal products. And I asked him that exact same question as like what you're talking about there, especially there's a lot of pockets, but like the vegan is like a big one, right? Vegan, vegetarian, like people really lean on that sword. Like that is who they are. And he said that it was really interesting because he lost a lot of, or he could feel that he was starting to lose a lot of friends and a lot of connections because he wasn't them, you know? but when you look at him as a person, well, to be honest, when I first met him as a vegan, he was very glowing, like a very amazing skin. His eyes were bright. But when I saw him again after it, when he started to eat meat, he was a bit bigger and stronger, and like he looked, more stable. He still had a glow about him, but he just looked more. There was more of him, and he said that he'd felt incredible. He was really conscious about the meat that he was eating, and he was eating just a lot of beef mostly, and a lot of really high, like grass-fed meat, so like a really good quality meat. But he said he felt incredible, and I'm sure you can feel incredible.
He's inheriting the hunter archetype. We're stepping back into that primal evolution and inheriting the archetype to which we're directly correlated to. So you see that transformation. And I Phil, who does all the filming that you'd see, my good friend Phil, he's been a vegan for 7 years, right? And he is a fit, healthy individual. Fit, healthy, as in, like, you can see him, he's carrying a lot of stuff as well. But at the same time, like, it works for him. Now, it's not to say that he's not adopting the hunter archetype, but in his way, he is, in essence. So there are people that thrive really well. And it's just a matter of finding that thing and identifying what works for you and being present in that. But more often than not, you see a vegan who jumps ships and starts to eat more off the land, more from what the earth's given us, including animal product. And it is very present. Like, you'll see them fuller, you'll see them, healthier, more energy. And that is because we are meant to eat those things. And that's not to bring up that conversation. That is because we're meant to eat all of these things. But psychologically, society is still like trying to keep you in that identity. Otherwise, like you say, Alex started to drift away from his tribe, quote unquote, because he was adopting these new eating habits. It's like, why aren't we celebrating the health and well-being of somebody much rather than the identities that are attached?
Yeah, correct. 100%, dude. And like, he'd have big groups of people come out and, like, they garden on his property at Umundi, and that's what he said. Like, one of the things, like, that's a really cool part of that culture and that tribe, that we all get together and we grow vegetables and we harvest fruit off trees. But it's really cool that you can, like, as carnivores, I don't have any ill will towards someone that doesn't want to eat meat, but it's weird that it's on the other side. Like, why can't we all just, and the story is cool with you because you're very close with your vegan friend, and that's okay. Even Matty Grills, like, again, I don't like Matty more or less because he doesn't eat meat. It's so silly.
Matty serves up coffee every day, sometimes with full cream milk. Like, he's not a hater or anything. Like, I love Matty for Matty, and his way of life that he chooses is his way, and I accept him and receive him fully for that. And I think that's where the power is, because when we live off the land, and we will eventually be on the land together, everybody, this will go this way. It's important that everybody feels autonomous in the decision that they've chosen for their life. Whether they choose to change or not, that's completely up to them. But overall, my intention in this life is for everybody to make a decision for them and be happy and healthy in whatever they're doing. And if you're making decisions that aren't, I'm still going to love you, and I'm still going to let you know that you're making decisions that aren't healthy for you. And it's not to say that I'm right and you're wrong. It's just like an accountability thing of being like, if we're tribe, I'm going to let you know that as a tribe, we need to be like this instead of like this and then like this over here. You want to be part of the tribe. Like, it's this health thing.
And that exactly what you just said, then I have the same thought process in business, right? Like, as a leader, if I'm going to hold you accountable, and I have a really high expectation of what I think you can achieve and what I want you to do every day. And sometimes I might pull you aside and say things that might hurt your feelings or that you don't totally agree with, but I have my standards of you are so high that I'm going to hold you accountable to them. And I think too is, like, as leaders, sometimes you can sort of, oversee some errors or improvements or things that can get better because you don't want to upset someone. But I think it's the opposite. It's like, I want to be around people that really hold me accountable, say, hey, dude, just wanted to sort of flag something because you said this or you done that, or maybe you acted out this way. And I just don't really think that that's going to, help you improve or help you be better or contribute to our tribe. So I think like holding someone accountable, like to a really high standard, isn't you being a cunt. It's like, hey, I expect that of you because I know that you can do that. And if you might not even know that you can do that yet, right? Because it's like, we have a lot of the times we can sort of look at ourselves as like a less of other people around us. So it's like, oh, wow, Will is like here. And like, I feel like I'm not there yet. But from your eyes, you're like, hey, like we're together, or I might be higher than you in some other areas. So it's like, I think that the level of accountability that we can give our peers, well, it's one thing to give them. Secondly, it's to be able to receive them, right? Because you can communicate them with me. But if my ego's in the road, or I'm not in a position to be able to receive that growth, then I'm not going to fucking grow. Simple. But it's like creating a culture that's like, hey, I want to create a culture that we all want to try to improve and grow. And in order to do that, you have to fucking call me out when I'm slacking off or not pulling my weight or contributing. And I'm going to do the same thing to you.
Absolutely. How have you found that? Because I know you and your brother are like business partners. How have you found that growing with your brother?
Yeah, so it's actually a really unique way. So we have my strengths are his weaknesses. My weaknesses are his strengths. So we're like, from the word go, it's the fucking ultimate combination, right? What I find is that I know when he's doing more than me, and he knows when I'm doing more than him. It's like an unwritten, like when if say for example he's bringing in more sales, or he seems to be solving more problems and I'm not, I'm like, oh fuck, like there's nowhere to hide. Like I need to do more. Like I'm inspired to then push forward. Like I can identify that because I'm conscious enough. So a lot of the accountability towards each other is like me growing as like, hey dude, I'm fucking here now. Like catch up. Like what's happening? Like jog it in until you reach us and let's continue to go again. But where I find it is like teams outside of us, like I think we have that interaction because we've basically been side by side for 36 years. But I think people outside of that, and the other thing as well, like there's a level of energy between us, right? Like once we get going, it's like people want to be drawn to it. But what I've found as well, like even in the businesses that we've had over the last 2 years, there's been probably 5 or 6 people that come in with the same energy as us, with the same ambitions as us, and then they fucking jump out. They just can't hang. And it's like, that actually inspires me more because I'm like, oh, dude, you're going to get out the car now. That's because this is the thing as well. Is someone even fucking glimpse of quitting or not like working towards my goals, I'm out. Like I'll back you forever. But if you even fucking hesitate, you're gone. Like you're gone. So it's like, if you want to get out of the car now, go. And that just fires me up even more because I'm like, hey, you're going to fucking read about this one day in about 20 years. And you're like, hey, I used to fucking work with that guy. And that thing that he's talking about now that he sold for $1 billion, I fucking helped him start it. But I couldn't hang and I fucking quit. So it's like, that inspires me even more. And I think and for us, trying to get out of that employee mindset, like I wake up at sort of 3:45 every morning. Like I might answer a few WhatsApps, a few emails. And then I go to bed at about 8:30. I'm still fucking on WhatsApp. I'm still sending emails. Like some people that doesn't align with a lot of people's values. I still value my time to exercise, be mindful, spend time with my kids. But also I have a really large passion for business and for what I can achieve as a person. And that involves sometimes working fucking all day and all night. So I think a lot of the dramas that I have from a leadership point of view or delegating tasks or holding people accountable is outside of my immediate network with my brother. And the way that I manage this is from the day one. So if I engage with someone, I'll try to frame it in the way that I anticipate there to be a problem or some drama. Like, it's going to happen. This is like a honeymoon period right now. This is fun. This is exciting. You're left your job. You're going to come and work with me, and it's going to be fun. But it's like, hey, I anticipate that there's going to be a time where you do something that upsets me, or you do something that I feel like you shouldn't do, or that you could do better. And when that time comes, I just want to let you know that I'm going to hold you to a really high standard, because not because I'm trying to be a cunt, but because I think that that's what you can do as a person. I want to help you grow. And it's like, so when that time comes and we have to sit down, like, I don't want you to sort of get all upset about it. I want you to sort of know that I'm coming from a place of like love, and a place that I want you to improve. And this is how I'll attack it. I'll talk about, the things that I think you could do better, things that I think I could do better. And you let me know if you think I'm wrong, and we can work it out for them. But it's hey, for right now, let's fucking go to work and win. But just to let you know that, I anticipate that we have some sort of, sit down later on and talk about how we can improve, because there's always a honeymoon period, right?
Yeah.
First 3-4 weeks, it's like, fuck yeah, like change the world. And then all of a sudden that email gets unresponded for 2 days. It's like, hey dude, did you chase that lead up? Like, oh yeah, I'll get to it soon. Like, I've been busy with this. I'm like, well, fuck, no, that's not what we do, mate. That's, we got to fucking action these things. And once that complacency, it's a self-accountability. And like, I've been talking about it a little bit lately. It's like, self-accountability is like the fucking ultimate superpower. Like, if you can hold someone accountable, or like, that's great. I can work for you, Will, and you can give me a list of things to do and I will do them. Okay. But if you go and fucking meditate in Peru jungle for a month and leave my tasks up to me and I don't do them, then you're going to be upset when you get back. And because I need to be held accountable to do it's really tricky to be accountable for the things that you need to do. And I think that's what sets like a good person out between a great person. Level of accountability.
When you bring people into the fold, do you go through company culture first, or do you go through, these are your areas of responsibilities, this is what I expect for you? Or do you go through this, hey, this is the direction we're going, this is what we vibe on, this is who we are, and then go through is that how you do it?
I think my, to be honest, I don't think I'm amazing at this. I think there's like a huge amount of improvement, but like, I think I go sort of values, vision, as who they are as a person, or who they are as people. And then, because I feel like I want to be around them. I want to have fun with them. Like, I want to spend time with them. I don't want to have someone that's just like some sort of like super smart person that I'm not going to gel with or vibe with. I'd rather just have someone that I can spend time with and be around. And then I can. So values for me, it's like, I don't necessarily need everyone to align with my values. I just want us to all sort of work towards them. Because I remember, like, one of the values I worked in a coal mine that was owned by Glencore. One of Glencore's core values was entrepreneurialism, right? And it's like, the operations managers would stand up in front of us all and it's like, hey, these are our 5 core values. If at any time we don't align with these, fucking call us out. Like, they would say stuff like that all the time, but that's the last thing that they meant. Because it's like, entrepreneurialism, to me, an entrepreneur is someone that can identify a problem, can solve a problem, can action a problem, can be wrong. They can, like, so it's like all these things. It's like an entrepreneur, you don't want entrepreneurs in your business. You want fucking people that will just follow whatever the fuck you say, because entrepreneurs challenge things. Okay. Entrepreneurs will question things. You don't want your employees questioning the way that you're trying to operate your coal mine. That's the fucking last thing you want. And you certainly don't want someone to stand out in line and say, hey guys, a little bit like the military, right? It's like, hey guys, I don't think you're doing it correctly. They're like, we'll get the fuck back in line, because that's what's happening. That's not one of the values. So to answer the question, I think it comes down to culture. Like, they need to fit in with the culture of what we're trying to build. The vision, I will help build the vision. But yeah, I think the culture is the most important part, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. And we do attract those types of people, I've never run a business with multiple employees, but I've had partners where you attract a certain type of person because of the way that you are, your energy, and what brings people in that's attracted to you as a person. And then when you start to learn about how each other works, it doesn't always fit. And so finding that balance, if you really jive with a person and you really want to build something with them, it's finding that balance whilst keeping the standards and expectations at the forefront, and having values or core principles that the company or the business grows from. Everybody's going to grow into a different value with that. Like our versions of discipline are different, but the same, right? Like we value discipline as part of who we are, but at the same time, we do it differently in different ways. And I think overall, the opportunity for people to resonate with a value is important, whilst also remaining completely open to that fact that things can change, things can look different, as long as we are meeting the target and or the standard that expected.
I think that's the important thing that you just said, right? In anticipation that things change, because we could have like a vision of values and we find 5 people that align with our vision and values. But if the business's values change or the business's vision changes, the other 4 people, we need them to adapt. And they're like, hey, I don't really want to fucking adapt like that. It might be a vegan. We might have some sort of, some health business, and it's like heavily vegan. We have all vegan staff. And then we're like, you know what? We've got all this new information now. 10 years ago, when we started that business, we thought that the vegan lifestyle was the best for this and the best for that. With all this new information, we actually think that a healthy diet consists of red meat as well. So the business is now going to start offering this product, and it's a beef product. The employees might go, well, hang on a fucking second. I'm in a warehouse now packaging up fucking beef jerky. That doesn't align with my values. I'm out. So I think too, it's like, having people that can share visions, but are willing and able to be able to change and adapt. With new information.
Well, that's part of the culture as well, is this growing and learning. That's a fantastic example of the vegan and beef jerky. Like, if we can educate our people and educate the spheres that we move in, and not necessarily try to convince or coerce somebody into our way of being or thinking, but educate people in the fact that, okay, we were this thing, we have this new information, we are identifying that this new information is up to date, it's very aligned with our values and our mission, we're going to adopt this. Does everybody see the points that we're getting at? And then you give people the opportunity to be able to make a decision on their own and be like, okay, yep, I see where the beef thing's coming in now. That makes so much sense to me. I'm aligned with that. So education is such a vital piece as well with the growth, right?
Yeah. And I think too, like when you're building teams, it's about being able to clearly communicate not only the tasks that they're responsible for, but the visions of the business as well. And it's like, I hire probably about 160 people. Okay. And a lot of them, it's like, I don't get to see them every day. So like, I'll do things like I almost market. Well, I do. Like, I market my thoughts and ideas to the team, like on an email. So it's like how a business would like do outbound marketing. They might do retarget marketing with emails and stuff like that they have. I do that with my team, and I'll just like 98% of it has nothing to do with the business at all. It's just about like my thoughts, my feelings. Hey, I listened to this podcast. I had this idea yesterday. Like, it just might be all random shit. But for them, it's like they get an insight of who I am. And if I have to make a tough decision or pull someone aside and say, hey, like, I think we can improve on this, they already know who I am and sort of where my values lie, because they feel like they know me as a person. And I think that, and I'll talk about my kids, like I'll talk about some of the challenges that I have with as being a parent or being a husband. It's like, hey, like I had, like, just like, be really vulnerable. And I think that when you can do that to a team, it makes you a real person. And because that's the thing, is like, it's really hard to be, it's actually impossible. I think it's impossible to be a cunt to someone when they're kind to you. It just doesn't really, it's like, it doesn't, like, it's easy to be a cunt to someone if they're rude or they're being mean. Like, it's very simple. But it's like, if you're a really vulnerable, really open, and like person, then it's hard to be mean to that. So it's the same thing goes. If I communicate to you, Will, and then you know who I am as a person, I'm always kind to you, I always open the door for you. And then I need to sit down and have a conversation around your performance or an opportunity for you to improve. It's very rare that there's going to be any ill will towards that, right? There might be a little bit of a projection of like, hey, I've uncovered, something that deep down. But more often than not, you're like, you know what? Like, thanks so much for identifying this. And again, this is the other thing that I think a lot of employers do. It's like they look at Will's performance and they're like, if Will's responsible to do A, B, C, and he does A, B, and doesn't do C, it's like, well, fuck, Will's not pulling his weight. So I come on, Will, in the office, mate, I need you to do A, B, C. Now, we spoke about you doing A, B, C. It's like, it needs to fucking improve. It's like, well, for me, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's sit down. Like, is there anything, like, what's happening, dude? Like, are you happy? Do you have all the tools to do the job? Have I communicated that, C properly? Because I feel like maybe I haven't see properly. You let me know. And it's like, the thing is as well, like when you have that opportunity to talk to that person, it'll likely uncover something that's got fuck all to do with your job.
Yeah.
Fuck all to do with the tasks.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Like I've got my uncle or my auntie or my wife or my son. It's something personal, that they're dragging to work. And people like, there's a lot of business owners that have so much ego around their role of what they're trying to do, and they just assume that all their employees care as well. It's like your employees don't give a fuck about you or your product more often than not. They're there to make money, to buy things and support their family. So it's like if they're bringing some of their bad energy or they're going through some challenges, they're likely going to bring them to work, and it's like up to us as leaders to be able to dig that out, identify it, process it, and then help that person with whatever they need to, so we can get the best out of them. Again, as a leader, I still want them to work, and I still want them to work hard, because I can get more clients, I can make more money. The more money I can make, the more people I can put on and bring them into this environment. But it's up to us to dig them out. It's not up to us just to hold that person accountable to do ABC. It's like, I need to do ABC, but I'm also here to help you work through whatever the fuck it is on the weekends.
You remind me, have you ever read the book Let My People Go Surfing by Yvon Chouinard?
No.
Yvon is the CEO founder of Patagonia, the brand.
Right. Yeah, wow.
And when he first started, they started as like this other company, and then they turned into Black Diamond, and then Black Diamond, him and his partner separated. He created Patagonia. His partner went Black Diamond. And Patagonia is enormous, right? It's like one of the most successful businesses in the world.
It's starting to pop now as well. Like it's starting to be really pop culture-y.
It is very much so.
Yeah.
And initially, when he brought on his team, he had all these surfers, mountaineers that were his employees, and he just wanted his friends to work with, make amazing products, and just hang out and like they'd close shop and when the waves were good, or they'd close shop when the conditions were good, and just go. And then he noticed the more and more people that he put on, they were experiencing like their sales would go down or manufacturing would go down. And he was like, what the fuck is happening? And people were getting caught up with they were wanting to work with him, and they had kids, and their responsibilities with their kids were starting to take over. And so their work was suffering because they were responsible for making sure that the kids were at school or at daycare, whatever it was. And so him and his wife, actually the headquarters in California, they created a childcare center inside of Patagonia HQ.
Wow.
And he like created this full educational framework and employed all these things. And so now all his employees were coming to the company, and his sales skyrocketed, like all the manufacturing skyrocketed. They started to branch out different states and countries. And so it was just this one simple maneuver of sitting everybody down and going, what's going on? And everyone's like, Yvon, this is the best job I've ever had. I don't want to lose it, but I need care for my children. And so him and his wife were just like, easy, done. And then eventually they moved out of it because like the parents would be going down playing with their kids at lunchtime, and then they never come back and all the things. But it was such a simple maneuver by listening to the team and providing a chance for values, culture, and professionalism to all come into one conversation, hear from everybody, and then him as an entrepreneur to be like, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Here's a fix.
I think a little bit of the like working from home is a good similar example to that. Like I remember when I worked because some people, you talk to some people that love working from home, and I was trying to understand like why there was like this big group of people that love working from home. And what I sort of like in my very small survey, I identified that everyone that enjoyed working from home were employees. Okay. Because they were away from their boss. They were away from the supervision. And let's be honest, in a normal work week from 9 till 5, people are fucking on for a good part of that, right? So if you can be at home and fucking on, it's better than being at work and trying to look like you're doing something, right? You can just do 3 hours of work in an window and go do whatever. So it's like, for me as an entrepreneur and a business owner, I hated working from home because my wife could not identify if it was Courtney dad, Courtney husband, or Courtney business owner. My kids are like, is this like, and it doesn't matter. It's like, I could be on a Zoom call, on a phone call, and my wife is like, hey, dog, can you just quickly just hang them clothes out? The fucking laundry just finished. I'm just going to fucking make some lunch or do whatever. I'm like, well, I'm at work right now. It's fucking 10 o'clock. And now I'm a cunt because I won't help. It's like, well, you fucking not help. It's like, I'm at work. I'm at work. But, but when I left that environment, my business fucking skyrocketed, everything, because it's like I needed to be as good as it is to be around them guys. If I'm at work, I need to focus on work and building this thing, and I can't do that when I have fucking crying kids and my wife needs me to hang laundry out. And it sounds bad, but it is what it is. Like, in order for me to provide all the things that you want and I want to provide, I need to go and fucking build this thing. So it might mean that kid cries and you have to fucking look after them after they do the washing, or vice versa. I'm not saying that that's her role, but when I left that environment and got an office, fucking everything improved, dude. Because it's like, when I'm going here, I walk into this office, like, this is like time to work. I'm in focus, and then I leave here, and then I'll go home, and like, now it's home time. They know that I'm home. They know that I still might need to answer some calls. I still might need to reply to an email. Like, there's a fine, and I need to get better at that, right? Like, I'm not amazing at that. But yeah, it's the distinction between home and like work and not work is that the working from home. It's like the employees are the ones, because they get the fuck on and hide. And I don't think it's actually healthy long term for these guys to be hidden at home, because they're doing, especially in these big companies where there might be 500 to 1,000 employees, and they sit in their home all day and they don't interact with anyone. Like, they might interact with their partners. Like, there's like a lagging KPI that's not fucking healthy at all. Because they're missing out on conversations. They're missing out on even just a commute, like being able to think of random things on your way to work, or you see your cop. Like, there's so much, like, I don't know if you've ever been to a game of Test cricket. Like,
never.
If you watch it on TV, it's like the most fucking boring thing ever. Right? It's like, what are we doing? I got tickets for Christmas to go to an Australian Test match one day. It was one of the most entertaining days I'd ever had, because there was so much shit off the ball. It had nothing to do with the cricket. It was all this fun entertainment stuff that was happening in the crowd, and you'd see this fielder do something random that wasn't on TV. So it's like, that's the way that I look at it as well. Like, a job is great because it provides an income, and you get to do you get to build something, but it's all the stuff that happens off the ball. It's all the stuff that you talk to the Uber driver, the taxi driver, you talk to the lady at the cafe, you talk to the person that sits at the desk next to you. Like, that's all the most valuable things. It's that interaction, I think, that gets overlooked.
Yeah, I'm in that transitional stage now, and we're about to move. But
are you moving to that place you put up last year in your stories? Did you sign a lease? Did you sign a lease for somewhere, you and Scotty?
Oh, no, I'm me personally.
Oh yeah, we're
moving house. So Groove HQ is going to be on the Gold Coast. Yes, definitely.
Did you put that up? Did you put like a picture of that up? Have you signed a lease there, dude? That looks fucking incredible, bro.
It's a good place.
I'll come up when you move in.
So Groove HQ will be up here on the Gold Coast for sure. But in like my individual brand, I'm going to find a location. Like the new place we're moving to down south has an extra room for me to be able to consult and do stuff. But that exactly what you just said, I've been struggling with for the last year and a bit, is creating that separation. And I know as soon as I find that place, everything it'll skyrocket for sure. But it's just finding that transition and having a place. And we're moving 15 minutes south of Byron. So I'm going to look around the Byron area, which would be quite conducive for me as a practitioner because of the environment and community. But yeah, really creating that separation. And even with Groove HQ, like I know once we're in that HQ and we're producing and we've got all the artists in there producing, we're doing the AI stuff in there, like it's going to be another world again and separated again. And I'm looking forward to that because even working from home the last 7 years, like I've enjoyed it. But even as a disciplined person who is conscious of life, you fall into bad habits, man. You do.
Absolutely.
And it's such a risk. And I'm bridging the gap at the moment with Telstra. I've got a connection there where I'm going to be moving into that space, but their main focus is getting people back to work and retention of staff, because once COVID hit, everyone was working from home and they're like, oh, this is fucking great. I work for Telstra, good income. I don't have to go anywhere. And now they're like, we want to bring people back to work. And so even the major companies are having issues with people wanting to be at work.
Yeah. And you know what? Like there's even cases now that there's guys that'll like piggyback jobs. So like this, especially in the IT, it's like they had an IT business, like, so they're a full-time employee with Groove. Okay. And they go, hey guys, COVID, everyone's going to work from home. Okay. So they go and work from home, and then they see a full-time position advertised for virtual spotter. They're like, fuck it, I'll apply for that. You know, and then I was like, wow, you seem really highly qualified. When can you start? They're like, I don't know, fucking Monday. So now they're doing 2 jobs. They're both getting paid 150 grand a year. And that's the thing. There's so much inefficiency in a working day that there's capacity to be able to do this, right? And this comes back down to like that accountability thing. It's like, hey, if we agree that, you know, you're going to give me 38 hours of work or 20 hours of work, whatever it is, like that's what I kind of expect, right? Like, so like you can walk into any shop in any main street in any town, and about between 4:30 and 5 o'clock, absolutely fucking nothing is happening to progress that business forward. Nothing. You know, they're just waiting for 5 so they can shut. And a little bit like what you're talking about before, for yourself, it's like when there's a lot of distractions at home for you, young kids, your partner's there. You know, you're like, oh, I might, even for me, like with food, like, so like I don't eat, well, I'm playing around with my diet a little bit at the moment, but I've been intermittent fasting through breakfast, and I just have my first meal is lunchtime, right? If I'm at home and I make a cup of coffee, I'm thinking of like, fuck, there's biscuits right there. I fucking love this biscuits. You know, so you got all these other distractions and temptations right there. Like, but that takes, for me, it seems silly, but for me to think that I might have a biscuit. No, don't have a biscuit. You know, you shouldn't have a biscuit. Like that takes energy. It's only a really small amount of energy, but I don't even want the fucking temptation. So here I'll bring, I've just got meat for lunch. It's the most fucking boring plain meal you can get, but I'm a boring plain guy. And I know that by the time I eat that meal, I wouldn't have eaten for 16 hours or 17 hours. So I'm like, I'm hungry, and I'll sit in the sun and I'll just fucking, you know, chew and have like a ceremony over that food, right? And and I'll enjoy that way more than if I had fucking, you know, a handful of Kingston creams. That meal's fucked. You know, like I'm not. It changes my palate. It changes the way that I will digest that really nutritious food, and I just won't enjoy it.
So take the thinking out of it. It's like that Zuckerberg effect where he just wears the same shirt and jeans every single day. You just got to take the thinking out of it.
Dude, see these? I have these short. I wear these. I have a pair of black shorts. These black shorts. I have 8 pairs of the same black shorts. Like I'm like a fucking short nerd. Like if I find, or even clothes, if I find something that I love the feel of, I'll buy fucking 15 of them. So it's like I wear the same black shorts every single day. Sometimes I have a different pair of board shorts, and it kind of makes me a little bit more relaxed. You know, like I'll put a pair on the weekend.
Holiday time.
Yeah, it's like this fucking party. But again, I just wear the same black shorts every fucking day. It takes. And I'm not trying to be like super fucking hip and like Zuckerberg and like that, but it takes away, like if I put a pair of khaki pants on, now I can't wear a brown shirt, or I can't wear a fucking plum, like, because it clashes, and then it's like, fuck, what are we doing? Like now it's black's easy. I just wear the same basically the same t-shirts. I've got Virtual Spotter AS color t-shirts. They fit amazing. I fucking whack them on. I might have like a hoodie, or I might dress up with a jacket, but I keep my uniform of life is like pretty simple. And you know what as well? Another really unique thing that happened from working from home, I actually identified this when the kids were doing school from home, right? Is it was actually my wife's idea. It was a fucking fantastic idea, but we were having trouble trying to get the kids to focus on their tasks, right? They had all this schoolwork, put a lot of pressure on mums and dads. Now they have to teach their kids. And what we did was we started dressing our kids in school uniform. So like we'd get up, have breakfast, and then they'd go get their school uniforms on. It's like, righto, let's do our schoolwork. And like something as simple as that changed the whole fucking direction of their day. Because now that they know, it's like, righto, schoolwork time. We're here, we're logged in. And then you go have your lunch at lunchtime, come back, finish the afternoon of schoolwork, go get undressed, and then put your play clothes on and go play.
Yeah.
And like as humans, I think we need that distinction of like, that's the office distinction for me, or working from home. I need to leave this place of love and warmth and go to this place, because sometimes, which this other place is my office, sometimes in this office, I need to make really hard decisions, and I have to have challenging conversations, and I can't do that in this environment. And vice versa. So I think you need to be able to create something that you can be distinctual.
I do that every day. I dress up, like no matter what, I put on.
You look sharp. You look sharp. Dude, I watch it, like, and again, like I'm conscious of clothes. Like I like buying clothes, and you look fucking amazing every day when you dress. Like I can appreciate the effort that you put into, because you look fucking fantastic.
Thank you. I received that. Yeah, man. I get up. I comb my beard. I put oil in my beard. I dress up. I do my hair sometimes. If not, I'll wear a hat. Yeah. And it's important to me, because if I just get on. And for me, psychologically, it's not for everybody, but for me, if I'm in my trackies or whatever, to me, I'm like, it's lazy, Yeah. And that's where I go. Not everybody, but that's where I go. So if I get up, get dressed, even when my kids were here for school holidays, my two daughters, they're like, I get up and they're like, where are you going? And I'm like, work. I'm already here. And they're like, why are you dressed like that? I'm like, because it's a day to be productive. And they're like, I'm like, don't you wear a school uniform to school? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, it's the same thing for dad. And they're like,
yeah.
And I do notice like my level of productivity, if I don't, is like so low. So if I can at least put on, and if I'm not even like dressing full up, I'll wear something that my sponsors have given me. And that automatically psychologically puts me in that moment of, hey, I gotta get shit done today. So
it's huge, dude. I think there's another unique thing as well. And I remember we were talking about it when we were talking about hair. Like the thing that I miss about I miss about hair is being able to have a style and that sort of project who I am as a person. Like you kind of get an idea of who they are, or even just how well they're groomed. And I think like the way that you dress as well, it's a projection of who you are as a person. It's a representation. Okay. Because it's like, oh, wow, like that guy's, his shirt's ironed, he looks smart. Even your daughters identified it, right? There's like, where are you going, Dad? Like, you like, which is ultimately them saying you're dressed really nice. Like, what's happening? And I'm a part of a business group in Sydney that's full of, it's called Cub. There's one in Brisbane as well now, I think. It's like, there's full of entrepreneurs and business owners that are like a lot further down the path than that's why I want to be there, right? And a lot of them, the Sydney CBD one, like they all wear suits and stuff like that. And I found myself sort of trying to dress how they would want me to dress. And like I basically wear shorts all around the clock, right? And I started to like wearing dress shoes and pants, and I didn't feel like it was me. I felt off, and it's really hard to be yourself when you feel like you're a fake. And because I was dressing how I thought they wanted me to dress in there. And when I detached myself from that, I was like, hey, this is who I am as a person right now. I'm going to go in there and I'll be that weird guy. Because they're like, who the fuck's this guy in a hoodie and a pair of shorts? Like, well, why is he in here with us? And then they get to talk to me. They're like, you know what? Like, he's actually really nice, or he's really conscious, or like he has some really good ideas, or he's got an amazing business. And like it's more than just the it's more than the clothes. If you're being genuine, and it fits your profile of who you are as a person, then run with that. Because there's nothing more uncomfortable than being dressed in something that you don't feel like you are as a person.
Yeah, man. I've been wrestling with this the last couple of months because I'm getting some Mind Mechanic shirts made up to wear. Like you have Virtual Spotter, and I took that from, like, you look at Alex Hormozy, right? He's always wearing that shitty hat and singlet, but it's got acquisitions on it. It's his business. It's always in front. It's smart. Like, it's nudging. It's smart. But like, it's a representation of what you are there to do and who you are. And then I look at people like Chris Williamson, right? Chris Wilkes on Instagram. He's become one of the biggest podcasters in the world, and he's podcasting with people like Jocko, and then he's got incredible doctors and scientists, but he wears nice jeans. He's got his Vans, and then he's got this plain, it looks like a Cuts shirt, but that's him. It doesn't mean he's got any less value to offer. And so I've been balancing that and identifying where does that fit for me, because I'm not a suit type person, but I'm also not a harem pants type vibe either. So it's like finding the space that fits me, whilst also being confident enough that I'm not devaluing myself psychologically or getting that what is it, imposter syndrome, where I'm in the presence of other people. I'm there because I'm there. And I learned this when I was at Check's house, Paul's house, right? Paul wears harem pants, 5 fingers, and a polo. Like, that's what he wears, and he always has. This man's the godfather of holistic health. It does not downplay anything that he is, but that's what he wears. He goes to weddings. He's got his fancy 5 fingers on. He's got a nice pair of harems, and he's there. But there's like this, it's like, what works for you? And I've been to B&I's before, like in Sydney at McGrath's Hill, actually, where everyone in there was jeans, polo. And I remember the guy that took me, I was his guest, and I was wearing some khakis, some Earth Runners, and like this nice Cuts shirt. And I stood out like a sore thumb. But at the end, when we were all having coffee and talking, everybody still engaged with me the same way. I just didn't dress the same, but I am that weird hippie dude that dresses a little strange, you know? So just finding that flow of what works for you.
And I think as well, it kind of goes back to what we've been talking about all morning it's like, if you dress how you feel right now, but don't get caught up. If you grow or change, don't think that is who you are. You know, like because that's the thing, you might transition to the guy that wears business pants and brown leather shoes and a button-up shirt. Like, you might not as well. But if you find yourself in circles that's where you want to go, then you shouldn't be, stuck in the identity of like, hey, I wear this, what I used to always wear, because you're just going to fuck yourself, and then you go against who you are authentically as a person. But it's so interesting because it's a balancing act, because you don't want to, the perception, you don't want to perceive yourself as like not a serious person, or someone that that isn't making big moves. And sometimes if you wear a pair of jeans and a pair of Vans, instantly you're looked at as like not the guy that runs a $500 million company or whatever that might be. And I think Alex talks about that openly, because he started doing talks in dress shirts and button ups, and he's like, that wasn't who I was. And a lot of his growth was like, when he started to pop was when he started to throw the flannel on and the wife beater and fucking running the Crocs like that, because there was so much. we've seen fucking 100 people, communicate to us in a button-up shirt, but it's like there's not many people, even with the nose straps and things like that. There's so much like intrigue. You sort of get caught in, but that's who he is as a person. And it's that vulnerability. It's pretty gangster when you care, because that's the other thing is, right? People say that, I don't care what people think about me or how I dress. I don't care. I don't think that that's the right way to sort of display it, or even to take ownership, because I think you do care, and I think it's important to care.
Absolutely.
Because I care how I'm perceived, but that doesn't mean that that's going to influence or stop me being myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Interesting. Legend. Another pleasure. I appreciate you very much. We've got a few episodes banked up now, dude, which is pretty mad.
Sick.
And so we'll run these on YouTube, run these Spotify, run these Apple Podcasts. It's gonna be pretty mad. The Mind Factory. You can get on to where do we find you on IG, bro?
At themind.mechanic, and then on the website as well, themindmechanic.org.
Awesome. And you grab me _Courtney_Joyce. Get dog daddy. Have a wonderful day.
Peace, brother.
Bye.
Later.